Hey, welcome back to Sailboat Ads: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This is Chapter 3. Last week I did an ad on a Hunter Vision 36 sloop, and owner was asking 25,000. I wasn't sure whether that was a good number or a bad number, so I started doing some research and found some other interesting ads for this boat, and thought I'd share them with you. This was the ad we looked at last week, and yeah, it had a bunch of blurry pictures. It wasn't great. Um, yeah, like that one. That's just terrible. Blurry picture of the interior, complete mess, dirty stove, etc., etc. So, I wanted to see if 25,000 was a reasonable number or not, because I'm not terribly familiar with these. This is actually kind of a cool boat. So I looked at a couple of other ones, and I found this one on Yacht World, and yeah, there's some cool things about this boat. So a couple of things to note. Handrails. This isn't particularly attractive, but completely eliminates the need for refinishing wood on the exterior, which I kind of like. And it's not just screwed down. You've got these fiberglass. I'm not really sure you'd call these cleats. Anyhow, this would obviously be incredibly secure. Pretty wide side deck. Um, kind of the cool thing about this boat is that it has an unstayed mast. So there are no stays. The mast is, according to some descriptions, carbon fiber. This one definitely looks aluminum or aluminium if you're from across the pond. You have your Jetsons stickers on here for Vision 36, which is kind of amusing. Um, this one's got the folding wheel. It's got a bimini on the front of the cockpit, as well as the back of the cockpit, as it turns out. Nice big cockpit. This particular boat, has a great array of instruments here. There's a little bit of, I'm guessing this is faux teak, not real teak. And now this is an interesting picture though. So what happened to our bimini? We got bimini in that picture looking forward, and we don't have bimini in this picture, so I wonder which one it is. Got some nice blue cushions and some throw pillows. That looks like a very comfy place to hang out. Spend an afternoon sailing. This boat has a great sugar scoop, nice access to the water with a big swim ladder. Yeah, if you were anchored somewhere, this would be a highly pleasant place to get off your boat and go for a swim. And then this is a really nice ad, I think. They have some great interior pictures of this one. This is actually the cooler, which is very unusual to have basically what looks like a kitchen island sitting here right in the middle of the salon. You've got these overhead uh, port lights, which are, most of the pictures I've seen of these, they're covered up with something, which says to me that they're letting a lot of heat in. And then you've got some opening port lights here, which is kind of cool. Nice big sink. We're going to get better pictures of that. Um, so you've got one seating place here. You've got settees on both sides of what looks like a really big table. Nice pathway. One of the things I think is goofy about this design is there's two little doors here that open that let you into they don't let you into, but they would give you visual and sound access into the fore cabin. That doesn't make sense to me. Just make this a solid piece of plywood. That, yeah, why do you need that? So this boat is very nicely finished. It looks like we have some laminate countertops. We've got looks like a 3-burner with an oven. I like the detail of putting the stainless steel plate on the bulkhead so that we're not damaging the bulkhead with oil and whatnot. This is the aft cabin. Not bad. This is a lot of accommodation on a 36-footer, which I think is kind of typical of Hunter. You've got some port lights here. So there's decent amount of light coming in. You've got one that looks like it opens there. This could be a fairly dark and maybe claustrophobic space. There's another one that opens, so not bad. I hate this design. This is the four peak, and instead of doing a standard V berth, they've done kind of a Pullman kind of thing. And this looks like it's just small enough that you couldn't fit two real people there, maybe two kiddies, or a nice sized berth for a single adult. So this is a cool boat. I like the design. I like the layout of it. Very nice size head. Corian tops here, so maybe there's Corian in the kitchen. Just looks like laminate. You've got, and I think in a boat this size, trying to squeeze in two heads doesn't make any sense. So having one really good sized head makes a lot of sense. And the fit and finish of, it's typical Hunter of this era, which is to say pretty good. Back in the 90s, they definitely had some people that could finish a boat out. This has this weird wing keel with the little winglets. I would suspect that this is not the most amazing boat upwind, but given the pretty impressive volume inside, and here's your windlass, very nice stainless steel anchor. Here are those two hatches that open over the main salon. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this boat, and not having any standing rigging whatsoever, I think is clearly an advantage. Yeah, this is definitely an aluminum mast, not carbon fiber. So we're going to close this one up. We're going to look at the description a little bit. We're still in the photo section. There we go. Got the right thing. No engine hours. That's weird. 30 horsepower. Yanmar 36. Rear combination of spacious comfort and easy sailing. Freestanding rig. Eliminating for backstay. Perfect. I'm going to kind of skip through this. Whether you're upgrading, just starting your sail adventures, Hunter Vision 36, incredible value, comfort, and capability. What was our asking price? Asking price is $50,000. So, as compared to the other one at $25,000, you're clearly getting a boat that is in much better condition overall. Hard to say how this spends its life in the water, but my guess is, whoever owns this is taking good care of it. So part of the reason I wanted to kind of dive into this Hunter Vision 36 is that I found another ad, which definitely fits in my whole good, the bad, and the ugly. So here we have the good. Very nice listing, very nice boat in really good condition. Got some unique features to it. I don't like the V berth, but otherwise there's a lot to really like and enjoy about this boat for 50. My guess is you could probably get it for less. But let's look at the next listing, which is super interesting. So this is a broker listing, considerably less money at $35,900, but kind of in between the one that we saw in Los Angeles. This is a 93, so a little bit newer. It's called No Strings. Comfortable, spacious cruiser, feel of a 40-footer. Salon provides headroom, large windows, settee to starboard. So let's get into some of the details here. So draft of 4'8", feel 35, water 75. We didn't get that in the other listing, so that's kind of interesting to see. Also the Yanmar 38, engine hours of 2,000, 3-blade, and then we have a bunch of pictures. So traditional wood interior, and I usually don't read through these. That tells you, describes to you what the layout is. Let's go look at the photos. But broker note, and this is interesting, boat is disheveled due to winter status and work to aft cabin, cockpit sole. Aft cabin, cockpit sole. That is a confusing thing to say. The aft cabin is under the cockpit sole, so one wonders if there might be damage in the actual cockpit floor. She should clean up nicely when commissioned for season. So I'm sorry, if I'm a broker and I'm trying to get $36,000 from my client, don't take pictures unless the thing's ready to show. And we're going to see exactly what I'm talking about here in a second. So we have we have a nice picture of the starboard side. And these pictures are set up in such a way that I have to basically back out and go back to the main page. So I'm going to kind of skip through them here. You got the bow. Actually, there's a detail in this photo that's a little revealing. The paint looks very rough, and it looks like it was painted while it was in a sling, because there clearly looks to me like an area that was not painted. That is not good, because basically you're going to grow junk along there. Here's your bow view. Here's your stern. Again, really nice. I love the design of this. So let's get into, excuse me, I think that these, nope, here's the same cockpit that we saw before with our line tidies. This also has a cockpit dodger. And so here we have our exterior pictures. But let's get to where this, to me, this falls apart a little bit, and that's the interior. So the guy's already said it's disheveled. Dude, this isn't disheveled. This is a freaking train wreck right here. And some of the details, if you look at some of the stuff that's sitting here. So let's look at this little number right there. I don't know what that is, but it is completely rotted here on the bottom edge of whatever this was. Obviously, it looks like some kind of boat panel that belongs as a piece of the furniture, but it is absolutely destroyed. Maybe it's some part that's adjacent to the engine compartment. I don't know. Here's your little pad if you wanted an extra iPad. You've got some random door or drawer front sitting over here. This is not ready to have pictures taken. I don't know what they're thinking. Come on, really? You're really going to put this out there to the world and say, oh, it just looks disheveled? No, this is a freaking mess in here. We have junk literally everywhere. Leave it, let it get sorted out before you take photos. I looked through this listing thinking, oh, this is $36,000. This is a little bit cheaper than what seems to be the going rate. And then you get here and you go, holy crap, holy. Well, that one piece of damaged plywood is now gone. Although they didn't, there's still no effort to clean anything up. It's really hard to me, it's very hard to look past this and say, oh, this is a boat that I'd really be excited about putting my 36,000 of my hard-earned dollars on. Just even spend an hour taking all this crap out of here, putting it inside the cabinets and in the drawers, putting everything away, and you don't see the aft area of this boat at all. This has no business being on a sailboat. This is crappy, cheap line from Home Depot, because I've used this and it's absolutely useless on a sailboat. It's not good for anything. This should never be on a sailboat, this stuff. You leave it outside and it's dust literally in 3 years. Completely worthless. You got a shop vac here. Obviously someone's trying to do some work on it. And there's a couple of these pictures which indicate there is a tradesperson there. If you look back in the corner, there's MZ boat something. So yeah, they've got someone there trying to do some repair work. But this is one of those ads that, as a broker, shouldn't you know better? Just wait. Don't try and put this on the market yet. Wait till everything gets fixed and you get that cleaned out. Here's another interesting thing about this one. You click on the engine, you can't get a bigger view of it, which makes me wonder why. Because I would want to see some of the details of this, but you do have other pictures that show other aspects of the boat, including the rudder. So I thought those are a couple interesting listings on this same Vision, Hunter Vision 36, which I think is a pretty interesting design, and definitely some interesting ads. Between this one that looks like the Tasmanian Devil went through the interior of it, and this poor guy that looks like he's smudged his lens when he started taking these photos. 25K, this might actually be a really screaming deal if you went over and took a look at it and could get past obviously it's dirty. The water line is really dirty. Anyhow, that's it for today. It was kind of a weird one. I just enjoyed looking at these ads and hope you enjoyed seeing them. I will be looking around for some new, probably completely new area next week, and I think we're gonna go. We're gonna go for the high end. We're gonna look at some 50 and 60 deep water cruisers that are immaculate because it's just fun to dream about living like the lifestyles of rich and famous. So that's it today. Uh, Thanks for stopping in. Like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff, and see you the next time.